Welcome to my YouTube channel. So if you are preparing for the PySpark interview, if you want to learn the PySpark, I have started this series from the scratch where I am explaining how we can read the data frame, how we can perform the manipulation. So like in the PySpark interview series, right? I have already uploaded one video in which like I have just discussed the real-time scenario question. Like I have taken one CSV file of Shark Tank India, like in that all the data of Shark Tank, and I have just explained these few basics question like how we can load that file, how we can output of the schema, like how we can print the inbuilt schema, or how we can like insert the inbuilt schema. Then we have, if you want to filter the record, how we will do that. Then if you want to get the summary of the record, right, like how many files count there, how many individual columns have mean, median. So these all things we have did in my previous video. So if you have not watched that video, I will give the link into the description box so you can go and you can watch from there. So today we will discuss the handling missing value. So I have just prepared this 10 question based upon that data set. I'll add the data set like this Shark Tank file into the GitHub, so you can download from there and you can perform your operation. So I have already started my session, and like I have read this CSV file. So we have this data frame in which I have a whole file written. And if you look, like I have just did few of the basic operations in my previous video, like how we can fetch the 10 record, then how we can get the summary of the record, like if we have to filter on particular column, how we'll filter that thing. Then we like if you want to filter by putting some condition, that thing we have did. Then we have performed some aggregated function like average, count. So these things we have did, like average monthly sales. So how we will calculate that average monthly sales, we have did that. So today's question is like, if you'll look over here, we have did till here, right? Aggregate functions. So we have used our aggregate function. Now we will do the handling missing values. So how you would means handle this. uh, let's put this question into the notebook, and we'll handle this. So I'll put a mark down, and I'll give this. So like, how would you handle missing values? Suppose there will be a missing values, right? So we'll just keep this df Shark Tank and missing. So I'll just create new data frame missing. So it's just to df Shark Tank dot. Uh, I'll just now keep it, and then we will just missing dot. So uh, so if you look the output, right, there will be few values which are null. See, these are the gross margin. Suppose gross margin, it's an integer value, but it's in null format. So how we will handle these null values, right? That's our missing values. We called it as a missing values. So for that, right, what we will do, we will give, there is one command, fill NA. So if instead of NA means null value, we want to put 0. So like, let's see if we'll give this command, right, fill NA, how it will work. So if you look now, right, into the output, and we will go to this. See, where is that? Gross margin and net margin, right? 0. Now let me show you. So n is equals to 3, and just put select. So we could see particular column, right? Instead of scrolling that, let's keep gross margin, then net margin. So we'll keep this more, one more, and in that we will see without handling this. So in missing, right, we have fill NA, but instead of that, what we will do, we will use this data frame, and we will try to see what are the differences we have got. So if you look into this, right, gross margin and net margin. So this data frame, data missing, right, we have just handled fill NA. So instead of null values, we have given the 0. So it's giving the 0. But in the DF Shark Tank older data frame, right, we have not handled missing values, null values. So we are getting what? Null record. So this way, like we have used the fill value. Like if you have to fill, we have filled that. But now like there will be a question, right? Suppose like I have to drop this record. So how we will do that? So let's do that. Df drop. Just create new data frame. We'll use drop, and we will give this df Shark Tank because it's our main, and we will give this drop NA, and we will give this just as of now, like I'll just try to remove all the null values, and we will look like what output we are getting. So just keep this, and I'll give this show command, and just so what happening, there might be a scenario, right? If you will go above, or if you will just put so before this, there might be a scenario like all the columns having this some null values, right? And it is getting dropped all the values. So instead of dropping that, right, what we can do, we can like give the condition over here, like discuss to, and we will pass this subset over here, we will pass a column name over here. So suppose my column name will be yearly revenue. Okay, so there might be a yearly revenue, let's monthly sales, then yearly revenue will be there. So let's find for that column yearly revenue. uh, okay, so let's give this subset over here yearly revenue. So in which whatever the value for the yearly revenue will be null, right, or zero, what it will happen for that, it will get dropped, the record for that will get dropped off. So let's just check that, putting this, uh, so if you look right before dropping this, just keep this count before dropping null values, right? Shark Tank 478 count is there, but after dropping the null value, we will see how much count is there. Okay, so 478 is my total count, so 241. So rest of the values got dropped because those are containing null values. There is one more thing, like if you look right, pitches state. So if you look over here, pitches state is equals to null, and in that, like, we are having few of the just filter out the record. Okay, but for the checking output, right, output looks correct or not. So suppose like I have one data frame, we'll just use one data frame, df Shark Tank filter. So what we will do, df dot Shark Tank dot filter, and we will use this column equals to, we'll give call, and we'll use this column dot is null. Okay, and instead of keeping this filter, just remove this and just put count. So we'll get the count, like how many record is null. So call is not defined, so what we will do, we will import from PySpark dot sql dot function import call. So we have imported call, now it will run. So if you look over here, so the last count will be counted. So there are four column, right? In the pitches state, there are four column which are having null records. So I'll show you. So I'll just look into the output. So you see these four column, right? Like this having the pitches state is not, means the value of the pitcher state is not there. So what will happen? If we'll put this pitches state into the drop, right? Out of 478, this four column will get drop. Let's look into this, and this drop, right, we'll count that. So pitcher states over here, right? So what it should give, it should give like our total value, right? Our total value is 478, right? Now what it should give, it should give 474, like as we have seen, right? This null value over here, if you look this, uh, just remove, uncomment this, and if we count that null value, null for the pitcher state is 4 record, we are getting 4 records. So what we are dropping this null value, and we are finding like those have not null values. So what will happen, it will get dropped off, so 4 value will get dropped off. So if you look into over here, instead of 474 we are getting 478, we are getting 474. So our main data frame, right, this one is the main which we have read, it containing 478 records. Let's count 478, but the after dropping, right, after getting dropped those null record, we are getting 474. So this way, like, we can drop the null values. Now, like, this is one method, right? Another thing, like, we can use the SQL method as well. So how we can use the SQL method in this? So calls, we have a calls function. So let's here now, like, if you have to do this same thing through the SQL statement, how we will put this into the SQL. So what we will do, we will write df SQL and we will create a temp view. So what df sartank dot create or replace temp view. So through that, what will happen? It will create a temp table. So just give temp underscore tb. And if you want to just like a spark dot SQL and we want to put select a statement, right? Just give this select select star from temp tb. Just give this and put dot so like we can use the scalar statement directly, right? If you have to give count, we will give that directly count. Just give this. We are getting the count of whole from the table, right? So similar way, what we will do, we will use the call-isc function, right? So like this call-isc function, right? COALSESCE. So what it will give? It will give the yearly revenue. Just give this yearly revenue. We'll go over here. We'll find yearly revenue. Where is that yearly revenue? We'll use this, and instead of this null, right, in the yearly revenue, we'll give this zero value. So just put this yearly revenue, comma, zero, and just use this. Okay, so give double quote because it's not taking that. And what we will do, we will put this into the one data frame, uh, df SQL call. So just put df SQL underscore call dot filter call. I'll just give this yearly revenue is equals to 0 dot so. So what used to now, like what we will give here, non-type filter. Okay, we have to use filter SQL call. Okay, so we have to just remove this so from this. Now like we have to use, yeah. So we can see, right, this now like I'll just give in the selector statement over here dot select select and just pass these whatever the column we required. Suppose startup name. So just give this startup name. Okay, just pass the startup name, comma, yearly revenue. So we'll get that 00 value. So see, these are the startup. If you query this a startup name, you will get the null value. But like with the help of this college, right, putting into the SQL, what we did, we find this or we just make this null value as a 0. So this way, like we can handle our question, like if how you handle missing values in data frame and what are the method you can drop the missing values. So this question completes over here. What are the things like can you provide an example how to replace missing values in yearly revenue column with average revenue? So what in this question we have to do? First we have to find the average revenue. Okay, so let's mark down this question over here. I have just marked down, and what we will do, we will find df revenue avg. What is equals to Shark Tank dot select f dot avg, and we will give this column name over here yearly revenue, control Z, dot first, just give 0 and try to run. So f is not defined, so we'll define this function as well, from or like import PySpark sql dot functions as f. So let's run. Now it has been now like there will be question why you have used first and this zero. So we are putting this value, right? We are taking the value out and we are putting into the array, and from the array we are getting the first value because we are going to replace with that value, and we will use the first value itself. Else we have to do join and all, so that will be the part of the later thing. But as of now, right, we have to use this thing only. So if we'll print this, right, we'll just use print and we'll use the df average revenue, revenue average. So you can see, right, we have used these things. Now like what we have to do, a df revenue replace rep is equals to df shark tank dot, we will use over here drop or no fill na, and we'll use this as a, we'll use dictionary, we'll keep this in that, and I'll use this call, or it will not use call, that will be also fine. We'll give yearly revenue is equals to, or just pass this value over here. Hmm, this should work. So it's giving invalid syntax. Okay, let's wait. Put this outside. Okay. Now, like if you look into this yearly revenue, right? So it will take this 557, okay, first value, because it's in integer format. We have not convert into the decimal format. So if we'll convert that, it will give the value into that. So just put df rep dot. We'll use select a statement over here because we want all those select things. So just put this thing, we'll put into the filter. So we'll use this select a statement because we want this much column only. Uh, so let's put this over here, and dot filter use call use yearly revenue, because we want only those column which we have just filtered out. Okay, so just put this and give is equals to put this, give so dot show. So we can see, right, these are the columns which having the null values. Now we have replaced with the yearly average revenue value, right? We have find first what we did, we have find the average. We, after finding the average, we have put into the dictionary, and through that dictionary we fetch the value and we put into our data frame. So with the help of this, if you want to put any condition or like that, you can proceed that. So this way, like this question we can handle. Now let's move to the further question, right? So in the further question, what do we have, like write a PySpark transformation to create new column. Okay, so let's go cam over here, and let's put this thing into the new data frame. uh, so we have to write a PySpark transformation code to create a new column. So to create new column, right, df, and what we have, net margin percent. So just pr is equals to, we will keep. So if we'll go for this new column, right, so there is function with column. If you'll use this with column, we can use the, we can create a new column. So for creating new column, we will write that net margin percent, right? So just use net margin percentage percent. Let's put this now. We will use the condition over here, so we'll calculate, right? So we'll use call and we will give the value. So for the calculating the net margin, right, what formula we have to use? Let's come over here. Net margin for calculation, the net margin percent. So what we have to use? We have to use the net margin and divided by yearly revenue. So what it will give? It will give the net margin percentage. So just copy this net margin, and I'll just keep over here so I'll not come back. And this yearly revenue, just copy this both, go to down, and like what we will do, we will divide this net margin, right, divided by our yearly revenue. So our yearly revenue is this one, net margin divided by yearly revenue, then multiply it by 100. So let's see if it's correct or not. So okay, we'll to pass call, give this, give this, give this, and now like you'll just display per dot select. We will use this select statement. Wait, we have whenever we have selected this, right, startup name, yearly revenue, and we have created this newly column called net margin, so we'll use that net margin as well. uh, just put this dot. So we can see, right, we are getting net margin as a null. So what we will do, we will put over here dot filter, and just I'll use this filter and I'll use it over here. So just give this call, and because why we are getting null, so if you look over here, right, yearly revenue and net margin, we'll use this column as well, net margin over here. So we will come, we okay, net margin. Okay, as of now, like I'll just keep this comment out this and this, so will not get confused. uh, okay, dot, so select net margin, dot show. So if you look over here, right, net margin is null, but yearly revenue is 95. But it will null will get converted into zero, so it will give the null because it's not making any sense. Even zero is divided by 20, it's not making any sense. So what we will do, we will check like net margin and yearly revenue. Both should have some values. So for that, what we will do, we will use a filter. So I am just writing over here, and if we will use multi-line, we have to break line like this into the PySpark, so it will understood like we are going into the new line. So we will use column over here, net margin, and we will give this net margin, and we will put dot is not null, then same thing we will go for this end, and we will put same thing, control Z, just came over here, okay, control Z, control C, just put over here, and instead of net margin we have to put over here yearly revenue, not null. So just put this, and I'll put it into one more bracket so it will understood. So if you look right over here, net margin and yearly revenue are not null. So for 0, for 10 and 250, we have 4% of the net margin percentage. So like this, we can calculate if we have any calculated column, or we have any transformation, like we have any calculated fill to do. We this way, by writing the code and by using the with column function, we can derive the new calculated column. So now let's move ahead to the further question, like how would you convert original air date column. So for this, like for handling this column, right, we have to put over here, and we'll to go, and let's put df date. Okay, so we are converting date. So for get converting date also, we will use same thing, with column, so dot with column, and we will use uh, original air date. So we'll put over here original air date. I'll just copy this thing and put it here, comma f dot to date. So we'll put this, then we will give call, we'll give this name, original date, comma, we will give dd mm yy. So just we'll do this df date dot select. We'll use this selector statement again because we are not going to use any yearly revenue, and we'll put original date into that because let's put this, and let's put this original date. Okay, now dot so so we can see original year date is giving null over here. So what we will do, instead of seeing this value, first we will see this Shark Tank value. Okay, let's do that thing. I'll comment this as of now because I don't want to see that value. So if you look into this Shark Tank, right, our original date format is DDMM, but it's in character, right? So for that, what function is required? We have to give the m triple time, and why it will not get, so we have to give this. And I'll just, instead of showing this, I'll just give this one, and I'll put it over here and just run this. So you can see it got converted. If I'll just give this date as a date convert, or I'll just give con con, and I'll use this as a new column. I'll give this new column name and a comma, and put this over here and just run this. So you can see, right, our converted date format is this. Now, like if we'll print the schema of this, just print the schema uh, to check like it got converted into the date format or not. So just print schema dot schema. We can see, right, where is that? See, it's in date format, then it's in integer format, startup name. Uh, so I think it's giving full df data. Yeah, okay. So it's giving the full uh, I'll just use this thing. I don't want full column list, whatever I have got converted. So I want to use that only. So I'll give df data and make over here new data frame, pass that value. So you can see I have just selected three column: a startup name, which is in the string, net margin is in integer format, then yearly revenue, which is in integer format, then original year date, which is was in a string format, and I have converted that convert date, which is in date format. So this way we can handle this question, right? Then like if again, right, now if we'll go into the join and merging data, so I have not two data frames, so I'll show these things into the next video, like how we can join and merge the data, two data frame, then data visualization. If we'll use the pandas library, we can visualize our data, then performance optimization, right? We have used so many functions over here, like convert function and all these things, right? All these transformation, if we'll club together, slowly our process become very lengthy. Like if we'll club all this transformation which I have did for this data set, our process or get might slower. So how we will handle this and how we will optimize this, that's the part of the performance optimization, like how we can remove few of the transformation, or how we can optimize the transformation process so our runtime could be optimized. So that's the part of these things. So we will there are various method, like we are using grouping, right? Instead of using grouping, we can go into the SQL part. Our optimization become little faster. So these are the things which we have to give the optimization technique. Then for the saving data, right, after we have process, suppose we have a now clean data and we have all the data which we have to perform, like we have converted over here date type, it was earlier into the string format, we have converted into the date format, now we want to write into the database or somewhere into the location. So for that, what are the function we will use? So that thing we can learn into further, or like if you want to write, we will use JDBC driver to write into the database. So we will look into the another video, because this video become more than of half an hour. So we will look the in next video. So like till over here, right, if you have any question, you can ask me through my social channel. I'll give all the description links, and I'll attach this notebook as well into the GitHub. So you can find from there. And let's like ask question. If you want to solve any of the question, you can pause the video and you can take the screenshot, you can download the data set and you can practice by yourself. So thanks for watching, and please share my videos to your friend who is into the PySpark